Hello and welcome to another episode of Connecting the Dollars. Today we are going to discuss one of my favorite topics, money personalities. And we've talked about this in the past on several podcasts, maybe even years ago now. So we thought it'd be a good idea to revisit this and explore how this can help give you insight into your own financial ideologies and how a financial advisor can help you navigate your personal finances a little bit better. My name is Emily Agosto. I'm here with Amanda Vaught. We are both co-founders of Propel Financial Advisors. So the four money personalities are money avoidance, money vigilance, money worship, and money status. We're going to go over those quickly and just give a few examples about how they can help you get more insight into your personal finance. So Amanda's going to kick it off for us.
Yeah, so I think one thing we want to stress is that success, however you define that in personal finance, doesn't necessarily depend on how much money you make, which might seem counterintuitive. And making enough money is important, right? But your behavior is a key of your financial outcome more than your income. So we have clients who earn $40,000 a year, yet they're able to save and become wealthy because of that behavior, right? More than the income. So getting to know yourself is key. The first personality we wanted to discuss was money avoidance. So this is one of what we call normal money personalities. There are some abnormal ones, which we won't be discussing today, such as disordered spending habits or gambling addictions. But anyway, so money avoidance, right? So this is somebody who has a negative association with money. This could be influenced by the way you grew up, things you've seen, experiences you've had. You just kind of think that rich people are greedy or have a poor moral character, or you think you're more virtuous by having less money, something along this spectrum. This can manifest itself in a positive way. You could be very generous with money that you do have because for some reason holding on to money feels a little uncomfortable to you. But on the negative side, you could begin to have some self-destructive behaviors with money. You could ignore your bills because you don't want to deal with money, then you don't pay them on time. You can undervalue yourself, not advocate for a raise at work, or even turn down a promotion. I think sometimes just knowing that this is normal to have this reaction to money can be a great first step to realize that you're doing this and this is okay. So when we're talking with a financial advisor like us, and we've been working with somebody with money avoidance, a financial advisor can be very helpful to provide that accountability and say, okay, you're having trouble paying your credit bill. How do we set up a system to keep you accountable? How do we set up a system so that you can just make a monthly savings deposit, things like that to offload the money off of your own plate because you might really need help because you just tend to avoid dealing with it in general.
Yes. And to be clear, the four personalities, like Amanda said, are all normal. So you're likely going to either strongly identify with one or maybe a few of them. And while there are positive and negative aspects to each personality, we're not saying that you're bad for thinking this way or like one personality is better than the other. They're all equally valid.
Yeah.
And also, before I continue, I'm going to talk about the money vigilance personality. The quiz that we've used in the past is the NerdWallet one, so we can link that in our show notes. And you may want to take it again. Like I took it several years ago and I took it again, and my numbers are pretty similar, but it's just kind of interesting to revisit those things like, oh, I forgot this aspect.
Leave a
So,
comment with what personality you get so we can see the
yes.
range.
So, money vigilance, the goals for someone who has this type of personality is that saving is really important. And you might be like secretive about your finances. You don't want people to know necessarily how much money you have. You also might be uncomfortable talking about money. So, how a financial advisor could help is help you to open up about, what you're doing with your money. You may not be invested in the best things for you. You may not know about certain investments or strategies to use your savings in because you're not necessarily avoiding it like the money avoidance personality, but you just are so focused on keeping it stashed away that you may be overlooking some strategies that could work for you.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell a quick story
Yes.
about somebody I remember who had this, and they relied on their spouse, who was very money vigilant, to take care of all the accounts, but they were very secretive about it. And then unfortunately, their spouse passed away, and they knew that they had a lot of money saved, but they had no idea where it was. Unfortunately, that's an issue that a lot of people face, but having a third party can help ease that transition.
Yeah. And if you're uncomfortable talking about it with your family, you can have a third party hold on to this information. And then in the unfortunate event, if a spouse does pass away, the third party can relay it to the other spouse. Yeah. Okay. The next personality we're going to talk about is money worship. So, this type of personality, you tend to believe that more money will solve all your problems. You can never have enough. They're more likely to overspend on themselves, but also other people, and potentially have a lot of credit card debt. So, money worship is also the most common belief among Americans, according to this article that we're reading. But you just need to take control of your spending habits. I mean, like all of these, taking control and finding balance is the idea. And that's what the financial advisor is for. So, for this person talking to a financial advisor about creating a budget and then maybe coming up with a plan to reduce your credit card debt, they're not saying that you shouldn't spend money on yourself or other people, but just have more of a plan to it than just easy come, easy go.
Yeah, yeah, that's great, Emily. I was going to discuss the last type of money personality, which is money status. So, this is somebody who thinks that their self-worth is really tied to an outward expression of wealth. They might have a misconception about how the truly wealthy live. And so, I think it's hard when you say wealthy. A lot of people think fancy cars, big house, expensive clothes, right? But those are all material goods. And the truly wealthy have their money in the bank, right? And saved and invested, which is not the same thing as spending that money to show how much money you have. So this person might be spending more money and not trying to grow it. So when you're working with a financial advisor, it would be important to sit down and come up with a plan about how do we save first and then spend second, or set a long-term goal. Say you want a fancy handbag. How do we, reach that goal? You want to save up for a fancy car. Let's work on allocating our savings to that before just going out and buying the car. Right.
Yeah.
So,
These last two, the worship and status, are similar, where both want to spend money on expensive things, but money status is more focused on the self-worth. Like they only feel good if they have these expensive things. And I think we can all fall into that every now and then. You get caught up in a trend or whatnot. So again, there's nothing wrong with any of these personalities. It's just being able to recognize it when I'm going to go buy the new limited edition Stanley Cup or something. 'Cause I have one sitting on my desk right now. You can just be like, maybe I don't need to do this. Maybe it's just going to make me feel good for a second. And I can do something else that doesn't involve money that will boost my self confidence.
this personality is a little bit subconscious. So just becoming self-aware, like Emily said, creating a plan when those feelings come up can be very helpful.
Yep. So leave us a comment if you take this quiz. Let us know what your money personality is, or you don't have to let us know what it is, but if you've learned anything through taking this quiz, I think it's really interesting. It could create a really good basis for starting to have a conversation with a financial advisor, or maybe first with your spouse before you see a financial advisor. So I find it very interesting. I don't know about you, but I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, totally.
All right. Well, send us
Okay.
any questions. Find us online, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at Propel Financial Advisors. And we'll talk to you next time.
Hey, bye, Emily.
Bye.